Kirk and Picard belong to an exclusive Star Trek club no other Enterprise captain is part of. When it comes to Star Trek royalty, there are few names more revered than James T. Kirk and Jean-Luc Picard. Each commanded the USS Enterprise in their own era, defining what it meant to sit in that iconic captain's chair. But while many fine captains have helmed ships bearing the Enterprise name, Jonathan Archer, Christopher Pike, Rachel Garrett, Edward Jellicoe, and even Jean-Luc's successor, Captain Riker, only Kirk and Picard belong to a club no other Enterprise captain has ever entered. It's not about accolades, not about promotions, and not about the number of battles won. It's about something far deeper. Kirk and Picard are the only two Starfleet captains who have truly transcended time, space, and death and walked away changed. That's the core of their exclusive club. They've met the future and lived it. Most Star Trek captains operate within the linear timeline of their series. But not Kirk and Picard. Both men had direct, transformative interactions with the future. In Star Trek, The Next Generation's finale, All Good Things, Picard becomes unstuck in time. He experiences his past, present, and a possible future all at once due to the Q continuum's manipulations. This future reveals a retired Picard tending vineyards on Earth, estranged from his former crew and slowly losing his memory to a neurological disorder. That glimpse into what may come forces Picard to reflect not just on his decisions, but his entire approach to existence, command, and connection. Kirk, too, received a glimpse of the future, though in his case, he physically entered it. In Star Trek Generations, Kirk is pulled into the Nexus, a non-linear space where time has no meaning. While trapped there, he exists in an eternal fantasy until Jean-Luc Picard arrives, seeking help to stop a madman. In a moment of beautiful irony, Kirk dies not in his own time, but in Picard's. His legacy, then, becomes literally entwined with the future. Only Kirk and Picard have faced their own futures head-on, with the agency to choose how they respond. And in doing so, they've changed more than their destinies, they've changed the fate of the galaxy. They were the face of the Federation. When non-Trekkies think of Star Trek, two captains immediately spring to mind, Kirk and Picard. They are more than just characters. They are the franchise's soul, each representing a distinct moral and philosophical evolution of Star Trek itself. Kirk is the archetypal swashbuckling leader. He is confident, daring, and decisive. He embodies the optimism and swagger of 1960s America at the height of the space race. But Kirk isn't just a cowboy in space. He often resists orders, upends protocol for moral reasons, and repeatedly champions life over war. Picard, by contrast, is cerebral, diplomatic, and introspective. A scholar with a warrior's spirit, Picard represents the maturity of the Federation during the late 24th century. He's not afraid of battle, but prefers negotiation. He seeks understanding over victory. And yet, when faced with existential threats like the Borg or the Romulans, he remains an unflinching force of will. Together, they are the two faces of Starfleet, bold action and careful reason. No other Enterprise captain has attained the cultural prominence or narrative weight these two command. Pike may be rising in popularity thanks to Strange New Worlds, and Archer paved the path to the Federation itself, but only Kirk and Picard were the faces of Star Trek for decades. They've died and been reborn. What truly elevates Kirk and Picard to their exclusive club is their intimate relationship with death, and what comes after. Kirk's original death came off-screen ambiguously when he was pulled into the Nexus during the maiden voyage of the Enterprise B. Presumed dead by Starfleet, he lived in timeless illusion for decades. Only when he chose to leave the Nexus and aid Picard did he die for real, giving his life to stop Tully and Saran's scheme. It was fun, he said with his last breath, one final nod to a life of adventure. Picard's resurrection is even more literal. After succumbing to a terminal condition at the end of Star Trek, Picard Season 1, his consciousness is transferred into a synthetic body. This new life forces him to grapple with what it means to be alive. Is he still Jean-Luc Picard? Is he a copy, a clone, a soul in a shell? No other Star Trek captain has faced so many philosophical, metaphysical, and existential dilemmas, much less died and returned in a new form. While other captains have faced danger and death, Garrett perished in a battle, Pike is destined for a tragic fate, and Sisko disappeared into the Prophet's realm. Only Kirk and Picard have crossed the boundary and returned. That places them in a mythic realm no one else touches. They've faced godlike beings as equals. Plenty of Starfleet officers have encountered omnipotent or near-omnipotent entities, Q, the Organians, the Prophets, the Metrons, but only 2 captains have repeatedly challenged those beings and been seen as equals in the cosmic game. Kirk faced powerful aliens like Trellin, the Metrons, and the Organians, and frequently bested them using sheer force of will, logic, or charisma. Whether talking computers into self-destruction or outwitting warlords with god complexes, Kirk refused to bow to any being, regardless of power. Picard's relationship with Q is the most famous captain-deity dynamic in Star Trek canon. Q doesn't merely antagonize Picard, he's fascinated by him. Picard represents humanity's potential, its flaws, and its possibilities. From encounter at Farpoint to all good things, and beyond, Q repeatedly tests Picard, pushing him to evolve. By Star Trek, Picard Season 2, Q chooses Picard not as a test subject, but as a friend, seeking to give the aging Admiral one final lesson before Q's own death. To defy gods and earn their respect, that's rare. Kirk and Picard both achieved it. No other captain can say the same. They met each other and passed the torch. The Star Trek franchise has many captains, but only Kirk and Picard have stood shoulder to shoulder. In Star Trek Generations, we got the long-dreamed-of crossover that saw the legendary Captain James T. Kirk team up with Jean-Luc Picard to save a star system. While the film received mixed reviews, its historical importance can't be overstated. Kirk doesn't just team up with Picard, he recognizes Picard as a worthy successor. "Don't let them do anything. That takes you off the bridge of that ship," Kirk says. That moment is more than just dialogue, it's the ceremonial passing of the baton. The Enterprise and the Star Trek legacy are now in Picard's hands. This single, shared moment between them ensures their joint placement in Star Trek history. They exist not in isolation, but in continuity. No other captains share that connection. They represent Star Trek's moral core. What makes Kirk and Picard exceptional isn't just what they've done, but why they've done it. Across decades of storytelling, they've consistently held to Starfleet's values, often when those values were most at risk. Kirk disobeyed orders to save Spock in the Wrath of Khan, sabotaged the Enterprise to save whales in the voyage home, and risked war to make peace with the Klingons in the undiscovered country. He doesn't just fight, he fights for something. Picard, meanwhile, refused to allow the Federation to commit genocide against the Borg in First Contact. He dismantled corrupt Starfleet operations and insurrection, stood up to Romulan aggression in the Next Generation, and even in his older years, fought against synthetic discrimination in Picard. His ethics were never for sale. Both men embody Star Trek's utopian vision, that integrity, compassion, and curiosity will carry humanity forward. They are the franchise's moral compass. Conclusion: the club no one else can join. There have been many great captains of the Enterprise. Pike's charisma, Archer's grit, Garrett's courage, and Riker's charm all contribute to the fabric of Star Trek's legacy. But Kirk and Picard belong to a realm all their own.